I'm Joseph.
And I'm Michaela.
And we're
Trouble on Paradise Island.
Ah,
Ooh, that was so good.
you like that? I just thought about that right now.
Ooh, that was so that's the first time we've done that.
Yeah, I just thought about that. I thought it was a good idea.
I've thought about doing it every time, but I'm really bad at doing things like
In sync.
in unison.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
So you enjoyed that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. It's very satisfying to me.
You guys should give us feedback on if we should do that again or not.
I think it was cute.
Anyways, I don't really know what to talk about this time. I have nothing prepared.
I don't either. So let's just see where the wind takes us.
All right, I like that. I like that a lot.
So we went back to school though.
Ooh, that was great.
How was that for you?
I did not like that.
I'm very out of my routine. Like, I've spent so much time not being at school the last few weeks that
2 weeks.
yeah, it's a long time, that now I just don't want to go back. I don't want to finish the semester, and it's been 2 days. And it's nothing against like anybody.
Like, school's fine. It's
really good this semester.
Yeah, but like, I just don't want to go.
Yeah, like I'm exhausted and I don't
Yeah.
want to get out of bed.
I woke up today a little bit earlier, and then I was just sitting there laying in my bed like, I got school today.
Me too.
And I just didn't want to do it. But like, the first day back was, I actually enjoyed the first day a lot more.
Yeah.
I had math, and I don't particularly like math.
Math's not my thing.
But like normally days that I had math would be like the worst. But now, like, it doesn't seem that way. It kind of seems like that's my easy day, which is saying a lot.
Oh, we should preface, for anybody that doesn't know, we go to a school with block scheduling. So basically what happens is we have 5 classes on one day, and we have 5 classes on another day. And they just alternate. And 1 week we'll have, the classes 3 days a week, and then the other classes 2 days a week, and then they'll switch, and then the classes that were 2 days a week will now be 3 days, and like vice versa.
Yeah, so like I can have English one day and then like math like the next. It's really great, honestly. I honestly really prefer that instead of having like to go to the same class.
Every single class,
Yeah.
every single day. That's not fun.
I don't think it is.
Although I do have to say, my one gripe about this semester is I have not had math at the end of the day, like last period, since middle school. And I have math last period, and I don't particularly like it that much.
I don't know what to tell you.
I was gonna say, it's how my schedule works, because I take a bunch of like...
How it is. Med classes?
Yep, I take a lot of medical classes, a lot of like the ugly classes, like criminology, and wow, what's the other one? Psychology. I call those my ugly classes.
Oh.
Because they end in ology.
Nice.
And to me, it just looks like ugly, even though the G and the L are not in that place.
You know what we should do?
What should we do?
We should talk about how we met.
How we... No, that's
we
a
should
terrible story.
No, it's great.
Great. No.
It's great. So...
I embarrassed myself.
It was... Which part? I think we'll leave a part out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll probably leave that out.
I sent a snap to him that I meant to send to a friend, and I was very embarrassed.
Yeah, it was very funny. But,
no.
But yeah, no, I think we'll save it for another time. But...
How we met.
You know,
You put something on, it was one of those like YOLO things, like the anonymous like things, and you're like, oh, swipe up and tell me that something you've like always wanted to tell me.
I didn't say that.
And
I said say something.
Oh, say something? Well, okay. And Joseph is a grade ahead.
I'm a senior.
Joseph is a senior, and I'm a junior. And I wonder if they could hear like the vibration in my voice when I smacked my chest. Anyways, so he's a senior and I'm a junior.
Okay.
And I've like when I saw Joseph when I was a freshman, I was like, wow, that guy's pretty cute. And then I never said anything to him
because I was in a relationship.
He was in a relationship, and I was like in between relationships. So and then I like got into one. But so like for years, I've known you for like 2 years.
Yeah.
For like the last 2 years, I'm like, yeah, he's cute. But, like I would never make a move. And then I don't know how I found out, or if I even knew.
I don't know how you found out.
But like he put the say something on his story, and so I was like, I thought you were cute since like my freshman year, and I just want you to know because I feel like you're going through a hard time. And he like replied to it on a story and was like, oh, thanks, but I'm ugly. Or he's like, that's a lie because I'm ugly.
No. What I said was that, okay, so to preference this, she's a junior. So my freshman year was, where she was in 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's how it goes
yeah,
chronologically.
I know. So, but basically, I was very fat. Like, I wouldn't like to say fat, but like, I was a little overweight. I was like 230 pounds. So that summer, I lost a bunch of weight. I got down to 140, and then I was just like, okay. So sophomore year, I was really skinny.
Which is when I met him.
So I thought a senior was telling me freshman year they thought I was cute, but it was a junior. So when I put lies, I was like, if you saw me like freshman year, then you would know that's a lie.
And so then I slid up on his Snapchat story and I said, that's the lie. And all he replied with was, oh, so that was you?
He sent me these
and I had a meme. And it was of the cow from, what is it, Backyardigans?
No, not Backyardigans. What?
What show was that?
It's the show where the animals talk.
It was a bunch of cows. Whoever.
Not a bunch of cows. It was a bunch of animals, farm animals.
And if you know what it was on Nickelodeon. If you know what that show we're talking about, please hit me up because I don't remember. Anyways, it was this, and it was like dank memed, and it said perhaps, and I just sent it to him, and then ever since then, it was pretty good. And then, like, 20 minutes later, I sent him a Snapchat that I meant to send to my best friend, and I was mortified. I was so embarrassed, and it was just a bad time.
Yeah,
okay.
I didn't really care. I thought it was funny. I really thought it was funny.
I almost cried.
Jeez, I really don't.
And then we just texted a bunch at school, because it was the night before school started, and then, like, I passed out talking to him. And then, like, the next day, I woke up and I was like, sorry, I fell asleep. And then we just, like, kept talking all day.
And the crazy part is we probably didn't talk to each other for, like, 3 days.
We did not talk to each other in person at school. We went to the same school. We saw each other, like, at least once a day. And we didn't say anything to each other until, like, the 3rd day of school. And I was like, come here. You're talking to me. I'm like, none of this, like, you're, like... you're pretty cute. Like, no, come here and have a conversation with me in person.
I did it. You did. Yeah.
No.
Sure.
I said hey, and then you said hey.
Let's go have a conversation.
No. Like, remember the one time where like you just walked past me and I said hey, and then you said hey, and it was like our thing.
I didn't like that. That was never our thing. I never agreed to that.
No. It happened one time.
Just once.
Just
I said
once.
hey, you said hey, and then I walked away.
And then you walked away, and it was
went
like
to class.
It was like our thing. I'm just kidding.
I think overall the best time was this year. Like, I've had a really tough time over the years of high school, like just struggling with, like, fitting in and being, like, accepted. And it's crazy.
You've had like 4 friend groups your high school career.
I definitely have had 4 friend groups. It ranges sometimes because it'll go from like really good, and then like something will happen, and then we'll just leave that friend group. Yeah. Like freshman year, we had a good friend group going on, and then we disbanded, and then after that they left.
I was gonna say, it wasn't even the fact that like you guys,
some of them were.
You didn't want to be friends anymore. It's just they all left.
Yeah, most of them left, and I was just like, wow, so this is great. And then I was struggling a lot with just like friend groups and fitting in and who I fit in with, and then it was crazy. It wasn't until like I started being myself that like I started getting like the friends that I wanted to get.
Yeah.
Like, there's a couple people in my life right now that like I never thought I would be like talking to, that are just like now like my best friends. And it's crazy because I talk to them every day. I hang out with them every day. Say hey. We play Uno a lot. Shout out to 5th period study hall.
Oh yes, Uno all the time. See, it's crazy though. Like you've had 4 friend groups in 4 years of high school. I've had like the same friends really since like middle school, because we all came from our old school to the new one together, and we were like we all knew each other, and so we were comfortable. And like it's not that we didn't try to make like friends with anybody else. We have. It's just we're not as close as we are with each other. Like my inner group of friends, like we're friendly to everyone and we like everyone. It's just like we are very not antisocial, but we're very introverted. So for us to like go out and try and make new friendships is like very hard for us. And like we're just now like juniors starting to do that.
See, I feel like it wasn't until my junior year that I started doing that as well, because like freshman year was very like, you know, awkward and not.
Oh yeah, I feel like freshman year is awkward for everyone.
Yeah, I just didn't want to like I knew nobody, and like people were coming in knowing like their friend groups like you, so like it was really awkward. And then I met a couple people and then we became friends. But and then sophomore year was like, oh, I'm a little skinnier now. People are like noticing me and like,
which kind of I like feel bad because I really, like until we started dating, I didn't know that you were like you struggled with like your weight before.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
And
it was bad.
Because like when he first told me, he's like, oh yeah, I used to weigh like what 230 pounds. I was like, no you didn't, you're lying. So quit lying.
And then I went on my Snapchat like memories, and I scrolled all the way down to freshman year, and then I showed her a picture. And
it was crazy because like it just,
I'm a senior now, by the way.
Yeah, and he just like you don't look like that anymore. No. Like not even close.
Yeah, because I work out every day, not to flex, but I do.
Not to flex, but
I do work out every day now. I'm much healthier than I was then. And it's great. It's really like life changing when you have like a healthier diet. But anyways,
and it doesn't just improve like your is that my phone? No, that's yours. My bad. Sorry. Like eating healthier and like working out and all that, and like just being like having a better diet and all that. It doesn't just like affect your diet. It helps like your mental health, and it helps how much you sleep at night. And so like all around, just being like a healthy, like eating healthy and doing the right thing for your body helps so many different aspects of your life.
And it's really great. I personally like recommend that like if you feel like you're like struggling with weight, just definitely just, you know, still be yourself, right? Never change who you are, but it never hurts to be healthier.
Yeah, for sure. Because
it never does.
I remember like a weird side note, but both of my parents do Weight Watchers, and I remember it was so crazy. We went to Costco's, the like, what would you call that? Like the value size store where you like buy everything in bulk.
Oh, Costco?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we always would get like the big packets of cookies and the things of muffins. Sorry, not trying to get Costco's to sponsor us, but they have really good blueberry muffins. Love them. They're huge. They're so big. Anyways, so we went to Costco, and we did our shopping, got like the bulk stuff that we always get, and then like I think 2 or 3 days later, I went and I spent the night at one of my friend's house, and then my parents came and picked me up, and they're like, we're starting Weight Watchers. And I'm like, y'all literally just went and grocery shopped and bought all this unhealthy food. I'm like, what are we supposed to do with that now? And they're like, I don't know, we'll figure it out. And I've got to say, I'm very proud of them. In March, it'll be 2 years that they've done it, and they've both lost more than 100 pounds, and they look like brand new people.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
And it's crazy because I don't ever remember my parents my dad weighed about almost 400 pounds, and I think my mom's heaviest was a little over 300. My mom now weighs less than I think she weighs 180, and she's about done. She's maintaining her weight now, and my dad's still got a little bit to go, but they both look fantastic. And I do not remember my parents looking that big. Like, I look at pictures of them from like 2-3 years ago. I don't remember my parents ever looking that big.
Really?
And it's crazy. Like, maybe when I was young, I didn't notice it because, like, they're my parents.
See, no, I don't think that's what it is. I think it's just you were with them on the journey, so every time they lost weight, you just never noticed.
I noticed. Like, I like looking at before and after pictures. I'm like, dang. But like,
because a lot of my friends, they're like, I don't even remember you like looking that big, and I was like, I most certainly was that big.
Right.
It's just, he's like, I guess I just never like were there. They're just like, I never noticed because you were like, I was always around you.
Right.
Like, the only time they ever noticed like me losing weight now is because of like they noticed the first time, which was very drastic. It happened in like 2 months where I lost a lot of weight, you know, getting on that grind, switching diets. I switched diets like crazy. I used to eat serving sizes.
Right.
Like I'd probably have like maybe 5 chips, and they were baked.
And they were baked. Okay. No cap, baked chips are so good.
I don't like that you said that. No cap.
But no, seriously, like the baked hot Cheetos, oh my goodness. So
surprisingly
good.
very good.
So good. You cannot get me to change my opinion on that. Like, if there was like baked hot Cheetos and like regular Cheetos, I'd probably go for the baked hot Cheetos because I just like them more. To me, they taste better. They're healthier. And if you just heard that noise from my nostrils, I'm sorry. I like went to breathe in and they didn't agree with that.
Anyways, back to like the, you got a little sidetracked. Back to like
we always get
senior year. Oh yeah, senior year's been going great for me. Like personally, personally speaking, I feel like.
Sorry, I laughed because.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, keep going. I'll get to why I laughed.
Anyways, it's been really a journey. I feel, because like.
I feel like you've found yourself this year.
Yeah, I definitely feel like recently I've just been more open and talking to more people, experiencing like a lot of different cultures and how like how far I can go with like technology. I'm probably gonna major in computer engineering, which. Oh, I can talk hours and hours about computers and how they run. It's great. It's honestly great. And like I love when people like, excuse me. I love when people like come to me. Oh God. No, come to me for like technical stuff. Like today, for the first time, I don't know why I did this, but like it took me like 30 minutes, and it was because I just didn't know how to do it. I made a Minecraft server.
Oh yeah, I was sitting there and I was trying to do my homework, and he's like, "Babe, look, I made a Minecraft server," and I'm like, that's great. Wait, what?
Yeah, and it was like I was just like, wow, I don't have the room for this on my phone. Like. It was like a gigabyte.
Ooh.
And to keep it running is like I have to like constantly use my phone.
Ooh.
Which is like a struggle, but I guess it's really not that bad because I get to play it with my friends.
I hate being on my phone a lot.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's not a good use of my time sometimes.
I'm on my phone all the time though.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
I'm mostly on my phone to watch like Netflix, and that's just because I'm too lazy to get out of my bed and go watch it on my PlayStation, which is in the living room. So, yeah. Also because usually people are watching stuff on my PlayStation, which is a little annoying, but it's okay. But no, I laughed.
You play PlayStation?
Yes, we've been over this. I play PlayStation. The reason I laughed, you're like, oh yeah, senior year's going great. Junior year, fantastic, but it's so stressful. Like, I always thought like people were gassing. Like it kind of was gas, but like people are always like, oh, junior year is the hardest year. I don't know. Like a lot of people say that about like high school in general, but at the school we go to, junior year is the hardest year we take because a lot of the classes that we take are college classes. When we graduate, we actually get our associate's degree.
It's a lot.
It's a really good opportunity, but it's very stressful at times. And junior year is really where you take the bulk of the classes to get the associate's degree.
It is.
and
experience.
It's definitely a wild ride. And everybody, like, always, like, my freshman year, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed. And
I don't know how.
I feel like coming from, I think I just
hit my hand.
Hit the table. I feel like coming from like a regular middle school and just being thrown right into those types of classes, it's a very difficult transition. So like freshman year was really hard, and then sophomore year for me was like I coasted through sophomore year. I didn't have like any struggles. And then junior year, I'm not struggling, but it's definitely way more stressful.
There's more papers. That's the bulk of junior year.
Yeah, there's a lot of papers.
It's just papers and a lot of stuff that you have to.
A lot of assignments.
Yeah, that you have to do. Senior year. Jeez. Senior year, literally the only thing that like I struggled with is probably math and the 10-page paper we had in English.
Oof.
And I did great.
You did great
on that paper.
Really?
Yes. Well, I'm not sure. To be quite honest with you, I checked my grades. I passed this class with a B. So, realistically... It don't matter.
So, realistically, you did good on the paper.
It don't matter.
It don't matter. But, no, I hated as a freshman and a sophomore to hear, like, when I was talking about, like, this is something that I hate just in general. And it happens so much, like, when...
you're going to mention, I know what you're going to mention.
When you're... Like when you say, oh my gosh, this is so stressful for me, this is so difficult, and somebody else comes up and says, oh, just wait until you're a junior, or it's like degrading my stress level. Like, I understand you're going through a tough time, but I am too, and the fact that you're degrading what I'm going through is not fair. And I definitely belittling it.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Iran sends missiles to attack U.S. troops in Iraq. Jeez.
That's a whole boatload of worms that I don't even know how to begin to discuss.
I just wanted to mention that this is not.
This is happening in real time as we're recording.
Like,
I know this isn't live, but
yeah, but like this is crazy. So this entire thing, I had an English class today, and we decided to like talk about this a little bit. This is our like we do dual credit classes, so we are treated as college students. So college students talk about relevant and interesting topics that are happening in the world. So we decided, we'll open this can of worms to see how it is, and we talked about it, and the whole situation is like just so crazy and messed up. Like, I can't even begin to like describe like the tension between like US and Iran right now. I know it's like crazy that I just started this, but like I was looking for topics to talk about, and then that just popped up, and it was like 20 minutes ago that this had been reported.
That's bonkers. That happened 2 minutes after we started recording.
Jeez.
2 or 3 minutes after we started recording. That's crazy. And that's something I don't know. Like, I don't, like, I understand, but at the same time, it's so, like, the whole situation is just completely messed up, and people were blowing it kind of way out of proportion, though.
Okay.
With the whole World War III. I remember a girl was, like, freaking out, and she's like, we're really gonna go into World War III. She's like, and nobody cares like they should, and I'm just like, honey, calm down. I'm like, I don't think it will really end up being a world war. It will. There possibly will be a war,
but it's not gonna be a world war.
But not like probably a world war. And my friends and I were talking about this yesterday, and one of them was like, "Wow, watch us just jinx it, and now we're gonna go into a world war." And I'm like, you need to stop.
There's I was gonna say something. I was on Instagram, and one of the troops was like talking about like one of the troops that like I forgot where they're at, but they said like, oh, you guys think this is a joke? I'm out here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was in study hall, and I was watching videos on Instagram, and one of the troops is like, you guys think this is funny, but I'm out here, and this isn't funny.
Right.
Because I'm in the middle of this right now. Like, if I have to go risk my life to, like, fight back, this isn't going to be funny to you guys.
Right.
This shouldn't be funny to you guys. Like, I get, like, you guys can have your jokes about it, but, like,
you shouldn't joke
still,
about something like that.
He's like, I'm still out here risking my life for you guys.
To make those jokes.
Yeah.
Like, and that's kind of, you know.
It's a little messed up. Which is really sad. Sorry to get to, like, a depressing, like topic, but, like, I feel like, you know, if we're gonna be real, then we should definitely talk about, like, real things and not just be always happy and, you know.
Right. Like what's happening in the world right now.
This podcast is called Trouble on Paradise Island, and it's not just because, like, we have issues. It's actually nothing to do with, like, issues between our relationships. It's actually issues between, like, you know, topics that we talk about, and, like, that's the reason. Because, like, I feel like right now the state of mind as, like, students, we're, like, in paradise.
Yeah.
And, like, I know a lot of people will be like, oh, we're students, but we still struggle, and that's very true. But right now we don't have to work as hard as a lot of other people, like people like in the army. So I feel like the trouble in paradise is, like, Paradise Island, is that, like, our struggles and, like, voice crack.
Nice voice crack there.
Yeah, our struggles in, like,
just
topics,
world struggles.
Yeah, and then the topics that we talk about, I know, like, is drastically different from, like, the last 2 podcasts that we had. It wasn't as prepared. Hope it is still entertaining to talk about. You know, I really want to portray, like,
this is us.
Yeah, like, realness in the podcast, and
because we have conversations like these. I remember one time we stayed up till, like, 1 or 2 in the morning on a school night talking about our, like, political views and just where we stand on things. And even if we didn't always agree with each other, we were respectful about not agreeing. And man, what was it? It was like a few weeks ago we stayed up and talked about religion, and that was another good conversation that we had.
Yeah, and
just overall, we have a lot of conversations where
I want to say this. We've gotten great feedback.
Oh yes, so much good feedback. A girl almost made me cry. She was so sweet about what she told me, and it really warmed my heart. And I really hope that we can continue to, like, do that. And just because basically it was what she said was, like, along the lines of, like, this podcast feels very down to earth. It feels very much like you guys. And this girl, she knows us, but not, like,
we don't have conversations as often.
Like, we go to school with her, but we don't see her very often.
Again, I'm a senior.
And she's a freshman, but she's very, very, very sweet. And she was like, you know, this feels like you guys. And it was very heartwarming, because this is us. This is how we are. And it's so good to hear.
Yeah, it's great to hear, like, feedback. I've had tons of people come up to me and say, hey, let me join. This sounds like really fun to do. And I said, no problem. We'll probably do, like, a schedule. Like,
we were walking down the stairs today, and somebody shouted, "Trouble on Paradise Island!" And we're like, oh my gosh.
It's great. Our friends love it.
They're very supportive.
Yeah, and that's
our one teacher is very supportive so far.
One of our English department teachers.
Because we were sitting in class, and one of our assignments that we have to do later on this semester for the class is a podcast.
Which is very ironic.
And I was like, oh my gosh, Joseph. And he's like, what? I was like, shameless self-promotion.
And I was like, no, you do it.
And I was like, no, you. And we sat there for like 5 minutes and just going back and forth.
And we basically just said, forget it.
And then I don't remember if she changed the topic, and I was like, okay, that's fine. I really didn't want to, like, do it and feel awkward.
Yeah.
So then something else was said, and I don't remember why it got brought up. Something along the lines, like, she asked us a question along the lines of what media would you, like, participate in, or, you know, do, or what would you want to... No. The question was, if you had a podcast, what would it be about?
Yeah.
And I got so excited. I said, you know what? Shameless self-promotion, here we go. And so I told the whole class, and she seemed really interested and very intrigued in it. And she was like, I'll definitely give it a listen. And it was really sweet, and it made me very happy that even our teachers are willing to listen to this.
It's great. And honestly, I love the support, and I hope we get somewhere with this, because this is really fun. And even if we don't get anywhere with this is still...
I was going to say, this is still fun.
This is still fun, and I'm glad that I can do this with you, and I'm glad that, you're willing to do this with me. I've always wanted to do this. So, with that being said...
I'm not crying, you're crying.
We're probably going to cut this one a little short, because...
Oh, we are?
Yeah, we don't really have time right now to record the rest of it. And I heard a little bit of feedback saying that, hey... maybe a little bit shorter, so we're gonna cap at 30, but
interesting.
Hope it was a good podcast.
See, I heard people saying oh, I didn't realize 40 minutes had gone by.
Yeah.
A lot of people were like, I just started listening, and they're like, I'm never gonna listen to this whole thing, and then next thing they knew, they were at the end, and crazy.
We'll still have those longer episodes, but those longer episodes will probably be saved for guests and stuff. I feel like that would be the great ones where we get interesting guests and characters on that are screaming at each other.
Oh, I cannot wait until we have a full blown
the podcast with us will probably be a little bit more less interviewey and more
just
talking. So if you don't really particularly like just conversations and chill music in the background, then you can tune into every other podcast, because every other podcast will have a guest. Not every podcast, but every other podcast will definitely have a guest, maybe even a couple reoccurring guests. We can share how we met, our interesting stories with them, but I feel for us, we're definitely just gonna
we're just gonna vibe.
We're just gonna have casual conversations. I love that, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Back to how we met when we first started talking before we started dating, because we had both gotten out of serious relationships, and we weren't we didn't know if we were really ready to not commit, but if we were really ready to get into another relationship yet. We didn't call it talking, and we didn't call it dating. We called it vibing,
because of this song by Jeremy Zucker.
Oh yes.
It's called Talk is Overrated, and the whole concept is I don't need a girlfriend, I don't want a girlfriend, I don't want to have this label on us. I just want to be happy with a person that I want to be happy with. It doesn't even have to be a girl particularly. He said I don't need a girl, it's just a person that makes you feel happy, and you're just vibing with them. And that's the whole thing that we started. We're just no, we didn't start it, but obviously we started saying it, and it was... Everyone
was so confused. They're like, what does that mean? And my mom got so mad at one point. She's like, because
it walks like a duck,
she's like, if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, chances are it's a duck, because we did everything that a couple would do. We hung out all the time. We went on dates, held hands, all the sappy romantic stuff. And so my mom was like, well, it's a duck. So for a while my mom just called Joseph a duck, because
and then when we finally started dating, she went home and screamed, it's a duck,
it's a duck.
Because I finally asked her out. Actually, it was in the morning.
I waited all day to go home and tell my parents.
See, I was one day it snapped in me that I shouldn't have to suffer liking someone anymore. I struggled with feeling I struggled with getting hurt again. Mm-hmm. So I just didn't want to rush into something, and then something in me clicked that morning, and I was just I'm gonna pull the trigger on this, because this is great, and this is something completely different than I've had before. So if I miss out on this, then I'm an idiot, and I knew that. So I finally said, I was like, hey, You wanna go out with me? And then
It was so casual. We were driving to school. I was just driving, and it was very casual. It was very like chill.
we're listening to music.
And he just like was sitting there, and then he was like, he looked at me, and he was like, "Wanna go out?" And I was like, "Yes."
We're halfway to. We carpool.
Yes.
We carpool. So
Save the turtles.
So we were on our way to
pick up my friend.
her friend, and I like right before
Right before we got there, as soon as we turned into our neighborhood.
I said it, and then she was like, what? And then she finally pulled into her, like, I was like, I already said it. I'm not saying it again.
and yeah.
It was great. It was great. Yeah, I definitely enjoy like our time together, and I'm glad we're doing this. But anyways,
I'm glad you're not just a duck anymore.
what does that mean?
Yes.
She calls me a penguin because of my flat feet.
Oh my gosh, no, I didn't even start that. Kaylee started that. Joseph has flat feet. And so there was one day, I don't remember if we were all joking around, but Joseph said something to
This
Kaylee.
podcast might be a little bit longer.
Yeah. It's okay. Joseph said something to Kaylee, and then Kaylee's like, "Be quiet, you penguin with your flat feet." And since then, we've just started calling Joseph Penguin because he really does have flat feet.
They bully me.
We don't bully you.
Yeah, sure. It comes from a place of love.
We do. We do it out of love.
Sure.
Because we love you. I mean, I certainly do.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I was like,
I don't know.
Jesus, you're just gonna like.
I don't know if Kaylee like loves you.
I know she thinks I'm cool.
I know she definitely approves of you. Approves of
you.
You.
Approves of you.
I cannot talk.
Yeah.
No, my favorite thing was that when she said on Thanksgiving.
Oh, I said Happy Thanksgiving. I included her.
Yeah.
In my Thanksgiving list and like the people that I appreciate. And if I didn't put you on this list, that like it doesn't mean you're not on this. But she was on it.
But she was on it, and she was like, she slid up, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so thankful for you too." And she's like, "I'm really thankful for like what you're doing, like what you're doing, but like, you know,
how you treat Michaela."
Yeah, how you treat her, because you're definitely
an improvement.
Yeah, and you treat her well, and she's like, "I'm so happy to see her with someone that like makes her genuinely happy." And I was like,
She started crying. She actually started crying.
I did. I started crying. I feel like I'm very I sound very emotional, but
You are a very emotional person. It's not a bad thing.
Well, I'd never. You know how many times I've cried while watching Grey's Anatomy, and I feel like such a baby for it.
Grey's Anatomy. Yeah, but I think that'll do it for us.
Yeah.
It's been a great podcast. It's been all over the place.
I've very much enjoyed this. Like, I really liked recording this. It was comfy.
Chilling.
Chilling.
It's more of a laid back one.
Very, very cozy. We've got 2 blankets and
Those blankets. Oh.
Stop.
I can hear that in my ears.
Sorry to everyone whose ears just got burst in.
Anyways, I'm Joseph.
And I'm Michaela.
And we're
Trouble on Paradise Island.
Alright, see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.